is bagel number 2 for the night. And bagel number 6 from the bag. I am here to talk about what is mine to myself, but it's a qualified statement because there are people in this world who think that they have something that is their own to themselves, and that is because you illegally speak English. If you hear speaking English, you have to go homeless and tell God that you don't want to speak English or any language because you don't want to use the pronouns I and you and we and us and they and them. You don't want to say I any which way. You don't want to say it. You can hear it. It's not, you can't afford to hear it. You have to tell God that you can't afford to hear it because you can't really tell somebody else who's speaking that you can't afford to hear it. You have to tell God, yep, I can't afford to hear that. I shouldn't speak English because I'm not the I that everyone is speaking of, which is I am I right here. And heaven does create speaking English using I, but I am I right here. That's you not knowing who I is, and then everything you say is that you have to say, you're not myself. I am the top of the Godhead, and I am I. I am also me. I am you to heaven, and if you hear that, you can hear that from heaven, but I don't know if heaven would say that to you about me because you have illegal genitals. You don't know why you have illegal genitals, turned out to be deceased and threatening. You didn't know why you had illegal genitals until you deceased in all the threatening of illegal genitals. And that means you didn't decease out of the genitals, you deceased out of the threatening. You don't have the threatening between your legs, you have the genitals between your legs. You don't have the threatening on your body. It's not in your head. It's not on your head. The threatening is deceased, and you still have your head and your genitals. Did you laugh? It was funny to me when I said it. That's you being so angry. You killed myself maliciously because you don't want to change, that you want to be me to yourself. Yes, but who are you? Because you have a name. That means you didn't die out of your name. The name is a tag on you that you're not myself. If you have a name, you can't say I and me and you and we because that's not your name. Hi, my name is. Not really my name is. So, who is I then? Well, you don't need to know that because you have illegal genitals. I'm not really famous because you have illegal genitals. Yeah, but you made fame. You gave people with illegal genitals fame. How are you going to pay for that? You consume that there are people with illegal genitals who have fame so that you can be yourself in illegal genitals in the public, of alive, that you are alive with the population of strangers, and you have alive that way with the many of you. You don't have alive alone. So you live off of that there are strangers to yourself that are famous. They have fame so that you can have illegal genitals. Well, did you just suggest to yourself you should go to jail and prison for that reason? Or do you think that you don't believe that you have a live with somebody who's famous so that you can be alive in illegal genitals? You don't believe that? Who knows what you believe, right? Because you have poisoned your mind with that you eat the soul's food while I'm alive. I'm glad you like the food as itself, but it doesn't have deceased. I can't see you in the afterlife and remind you about how you liked the food while I was alive. In the afterlife, you have to really worry about that you're caught in your illegal genitals. Why didn't you worry about that when you were alive? You were too busy trying to make money. Why do you think you had to pay the charges? You never protested that you can't pay the charges for all of eternity. When you pay charges now because somebody's standing there and you don't fight with them to move them because they won't move, and because there are other people who make charges, does everybody make charges everywhere? Everybody pays charges everywhere. Well, how do you plan to pay for your eternal life that you're always going to pay charges when you see somebody charge you money? You're just going to give them the money. Or what about if you are someone who charges money to strangers you don't know and you don't know why? Are you always going to be able to charge people that you don't know for money? What's your plan for eternity that you're going to be making charges and paying charges and that you would have maybe seemingly endless amounts of money to make and pay charges? Where is that going? Did you not sort that out while you were alive? Well, I did. I deceased myself out of feminine genitals on the Godhead. And I will never pay charges again. But there is such a thing. I will close out the order and it won't alive this way here anymore. But that's because of myself. You are in your illegal genitals. You've got that problem that's not solvable, that you've been put out of myself and you have been put in genitals so that you can see myself as God. And you don't want to see myself as God so hard that you're going to go out of your genitals just to see myself as God. That's really unfortunate because you need the genitals for that.